What's going on, people? Welcome back. Welcome back. Jamal in. How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? All right, we got some things that we got to talk about and cover. I wanted to make this video real quick because there's kind of some things to talk about, but like there's not a lot. You know what I mean? When we go over some of the games, because our fourth game is still going. And then, like, the Brazil game was over by halftime. We knew this. And then the USA game, I mean, technically was over by half. But, like, Australia still gave a good effort, and we'll talk about that. But right now, Paraguay is leading Turkey in 49ers Stadium, where the 49ers play. Does anybody know where the 49ers play? It's like these NFL stadiums just... You know what? That's probably why they never went to Lambeau Field. Lambeau doesn't have a sponsor. It's just Lambeau Field. Huh, okay. That's a cool shot. It just showed all of Levi's Stadium. That's pretty cool. But, you know, like, that's the unfortunate thing about, like, where sports is as a whole is it's Levi's Stadium. It's not Candlestick Park. You know what I mean? That's not a deep cut, but, like, you know, for 49ers fans, before they decided to get a new field, they used to play at Candlestick Park. That's where Montana, Steve Young, all the greats in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s played for the 49ers. But let's get into and let's talk about some of our games that we had today. We had a quadruple header, okay, people? So let's go to the schedule here and let's go to the first game of the day that we saw. Was USA the first game? Oh my gosh, it was. I didn't even realize that. Whoops. Why was I thinking the other games were the first games of the day? Oh well. Well, we can go over it. So, here's my thoughts and reactions to what we saw in the action today from the pitch. Is I think there was a good effort by both teams, and I think, truthfully, versus what the first half was versus what the second half was, I think Australia played much better in the second half. I don't think Team USA, they won. Yes, you can't discredit that. But the amount of pressure that they had in the first half versus in the second half, it wasn't the same. And then when you go to final score here, the other thing too is you take away the own goal, Team USA only wins 1-0 in this one. But that's not to discredit how the match went. The match was good. I believe this is the first time. I know it's maybe for the whole team, but I know for coach, because it was talking about Pochettino and the record that he set with how he's the first in like 90-ish years, where the last time there was a head coach for Team USA that won. Here, let me take off my glasses. There's a little bit of a glare. Sorry, people. What's going on? How we doing in the chat, people? Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you guys enjoy sports content. Let me make sure my mic's up. Is my mic up all the way? Okay, we're good. But there is some stat that it is almost like 100 years old. We're talking around the time of the World Wars and stuff. The last time USA was, winning back-to-back games. And for the first time, too, because here's another stat. Team USA hasn't won 3 games in a row since before World War I. I did see that stat because there was a whole bunch of memes where it would show, like, hey, USA hasn't won 3 in a row since, and then it would play, like, Bad to the Bone, like, because, Team USA is pretty stacked this year, and a lot of people are talking about this could be the year that they go the distance and they do pretty well, which, I mean, the hype from what I have seen leads to having conversations like that, but I'm still, let's see who they play out against, because, I mean, I did a couple simulations where, they could meet up against Japan in the first round. They could meet up against, there's a whole bunch of, I mean, when you go to the bracket itself, they are the 1D category, which hasn't even updated yet, but they're playing the third place team in B, E, F, I, or J. And then when you go over here to the standings and you look at group B, E, F, I, or J, so they could be playing Switzerland They could be playing Bosnia. They could be playing, Ecuador. F. They could be playing the Netherlands. They could be playing. There's an I in the I group. They could be playing Senegal. And then J, where they're playing Algeria. Because some of the simulations I had, they were playing Algeria or they were playing Japan. And it's like, that's a good matchup. Like, Senegal, all things considered, in their first matchup against France. What was the score at halftime, people? 0-0. Senegal could have made it 2-0 with some of their opening goals that they missed. So it is what it is. Let's go over the game though, and let's talk about the game. And I thought I'd give my thoughts and reactions. I'm glad you guys are in here. Glad you guys are tuning in. So with the 2-0 lead, this game was live in Seattle, where the Seattle Seahawks play. It was kind of cool to just see how, like, right after the second goal went in, like, you could see the camera shaking after they called it a good goal. The pressure for the United States was there in the first half. If I were to compare which wins was more impressive, I would say by metric of, let's say Paraguay only wins this game against Turkey 1-0. Ipso facto, in comparison, Australia beat Turkey 2-0, and so it would show that Australia is a better team. But again, that's going to be determined when Australia ends up playing Paraguay, because the winner of that, they were talking about situations on, this is how Australia, even in this loss, dropping their record to 1-0-1, this is how they could get into the round of 32, only having 3 points. Whoa, look at this. I got a little bit of, everybody getting up in each other's business here. We are in the 33rd minute too, in this Group D matchup. So the pressure for the United States was, there, and it was prevalent in the first 15, 20 minutes of the game. The first goal came 15 minutes off of an own goal by Burgess. You could see Balogun was pushing it up the left side, and then he tried the middle cross, but then it ended up going off the Australian player into the back of the net to favor Team USA 1-0. I don't know how many goals. What a save. That was a great save by Paraguay. I don't know how many goals. There's not an own goal stat within the... It doesn't show it, because you go here to standings, and the only stats show is games played, win, draw, loss, 4. So goals for, against, goals against, and then goal differential. So there's no stat on who has the most own goals. But if I would say which team has benefited the most from own goals, probably USA. They had one that opened the scoring against Paraguay. They had one that opened the scoring here against Australia. And so then we play on for another 30 minutes. And then we're a little bit before extra stoppage in the 45th minute. That's when we had the Freeman goal, which ended up being a header. This one had to go into VAR, and they had to look it up and go, well, did we make the right choice? Because what a lot of people were wondering, and actually while I pull it up, let me pull it up here. They were wondering about, maybe I can get it pulled up. They were wondering if there was an offsides. Let's pull up the extended highlights. Let's see if we can get this going here. Sorry for the delay, people. Running an ad right now. Alright. Let's pull up. Let's pull this up here. Okay. This is after one of the yellow cards was given out. So 1-0 here. Here's the 22nd minute. We gotta fast forward all the way. Okay. Look, and as you can see where the positioning is in this, we have our goalkeeper down, which I'm excited for the day when we have the free flowing camera, that, like when it can just fly, and like I think that'd be so cool. Like there's been a couple aerial view shots in like UFL where it like brings the football a little bit closer, and it's just kind of like a unique angle when you watch football games. So we had a great save by the keeper here because he swatted it up and away, but then after he went for the dive here, and I'm kind of covering him up a little bit, it went to right here in this view. And this is the view that everybody broke down a little bit, where it's like, ooh, is it onside? Is it offsides? I would say it's onsides because everybody's in the box together, whether it's all of Australia's players or all of our players. Everybody was in the box. It looked pretty clean. And so then when you run the tape and fast forward it a little bit, fast forward 2 seconds. There's a contested here, and then we have the advancement where he plays the header, and then the header goes in, which I don't know if they would call a goalie interference if we're going to compare it to hockey. But so he heads it in, and then they all get tangled, all of them together. And right, let's see if it will play it. Where's the? Does this have it? Yeah. So he would have made that save, and then we go here. See, they all end up tied up together by the net. Okay, so you could have looked at it for goalie interference or an offsides, and then like it replayed, and it's like, no, you could see he was playing the ball first, and then the goalie ran into him. So then it's 2-0, and we're right before halftime. Before, that's not a word. Sorry. So then we go to the second half, and the second half, as we can see, this is where the chippiness started, where both teams were getting after it. I think, I'm not gonna lie, I think there were a couple breakaways, because you could see by the chances when you look at the graph here. Look at all the chances that favor Australia. Australia pushed the pace more in the second half, and I think the difference with what we saw in the first half versus what we saw in the second half is I think USA played not to lose. I know that's kind of like a silly term to use, but like the amount of pressure, like, hey, let's try to rush this down, let's try to shoot more at the net, wasn't there. Like, they didn't, none of that. And then, here, in fact, let me, sorry, I had to take a swig from the chug jug. Hold on. The team that ended up pushing the pace more and dictating was Australia in the second half, and they had a lot of good looks. There was, Balogun had a breakaway. What's his Khan? Ida Khan? Kunda. Iran Kunda. Not Ida Khan. Iran Kunda, he had a breakaway. He had a couple chances too, which, there were a couple. It's huge that you give Palutha back for knockouts. Yes, he injured his hamstring. That was a talking point that a lot of people were wondering about. But, I mean, they won 2-0, so to each their own, I guess. All right, moving forward. So, yeah, that's basically my big reaction to this game is it did get chippy in the second half. I think Australia was getting, and I think both teams were getting in each other's heads because there was a lot of chippiness. You can see within the final 10 minutes of the game, there were a lot of yellow cards that were handed out, which I don't know if it shows. No, it won't show any of it. But towards the very, very end of the game, there were 3-4 yellow cards that were handed out. I mean, there was one of Team USA's players was running to go get the ball, and like an Australian player followed him and then like pushed him over, which was kind of funny. And then everybody got back together again, and it's like, oh, hey, what do you know? A lot of tough guy stuff, which I've said it before jokingly. You know, if you just let the players fight and throw a couple fists, award them a yellow card, award them a red card, it'll all solve itself out. That's why hockey's one of the greatest sports ever. But chances wise, Australia looked a lot better in the first half. In the second half. And there's parts of me that think, you know, if Australia scored, made it 2-1, maybe this, the tensions would rise a little bit. But with how USA's defense was, there were a lot of chances that Australia had to, around like the 70th minute and around the 85th minute as well, where they got a good shot off, but it was blocked away by the keeper. And, you know, the score ended up staying what it was, 2-0, which I think, I don't know how many, there's a, there we go. There is, where is this when they get together? Yes, right here. This is freaking, okay. So this is when all the, not nonsense, but so we have, what's his name? I can't remember what his name is. But these two get together, and so then he purposely kind of like tries to hip check him, and then as they're going up, he puts him in a headlock, and then he puts him in a headlock. Like they both have each other in a headlock, and then they all came together, and then that's when the ref went boom, 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 hit all three of them with the yellow card, because there was another one that came trailing in. Where is... Does this show... Here's another yellow card, and I hope it shows it in the... Oh, it probably doesn't, but like the ref cramped up and needed to get stretched out, which was so dumb. I was laughing about it during the stream, because it's like, dude, there's literally 3 minutes left to go. Why are you cramping up? What's going on? But it was a fun game. Really thought Australia, not discrediting Australia and being like, really thought it would have been a tighter game, but like, no, I thought this would be a 2-1 kind of game. We saw it with Morocco against Brazil. We saw it with Cape Verde against Spain. Like, upsets and draws happen. And so there are parts of me coming into, and I'm not shy to admit it, I didn't think USA would sweep in group play, get 3 wins in a row. No, I don't. Like, I thought, we'll see how they do against Paraguay. I initially had Paraguay picked as the number 2 team in Group D, USA as 1. And so I was like, let's see how they, because I could see them beating Paraguay and then tying and doing a draw with Australia and then beating Turkey, or like a win-loss-win kind of situation, something like that. Whoa! Oh, it's getting real heated. It is getting really heated against, well, again, let him throw some fists. What? Someone just grabbed a handful of his shirt. Oh, that's funny. Let's see how the refs. You know what I noticed too? Oh, that's why. Okay, that was really quick. That was because I was wondering, why are the refs wearing highlighter yellow? And it's because Paraguay has a dark versus this where we have yellow jersey, white jersey, and then the ref with the black. That makes sense. Kind of color distinguish, but not the pink cleats though. Everybody's wearing pink cleats. I never understood this either. Their goalkeeper's wearing purple. I never understood, like, a fluorescent of the color that they're wearing. Sure, like Australia, you know, their flag colors are red, white, and blue. If he wore a fluorescent blue, or they do have green trunks. They've worn it like a fluorescent green, sure, but like purple, I never understood the colors behind what's going on. The ref still has the ball. He's been holding on to it for a while. What's going on here? Boo! Hold on. They're going to go to VAR. They're going to look at this penalty. There we go. Anyways, we'll look at that when that happens. But let's move on, shall we? So that was the United States game. Let me pull up the other game that was going on. Let's pull up the Morocco and Scotland game. I was real interested in seeing. Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Really? Wow. Wow. I don't know about that one, Doc. I don't know. I don't know. I don't mm, I don't know about that one. Let's pull this up real time. Let's pull this up real time. Rules for covering mouth. Rules for covering mouth, FIFA. Any player who covers their mouth with a hand, arm, or shirt during a confrontation with an opponent will receive an automatic red card. The confrontation clause, no plausible deniability, motivation. Uh, oh my gosh. Whatever. Whatever. Just say it, dude. Just talk shit. You don't have to cover your mouth when you're talking shit like, hey, you piece of shit. You suck ass. You suck at soccer. Just say it. Say it. The other thing, too, is... Okay, what is... Okay, hold on. I know Paraguay speaks Spanish. What? Native language in Turkey. See what they speak in Turkey. No, not Tunisia. Nope. Turkey. Which I want to try to spell it the correct way. Turkish. They speak Turkish. This is not how you spell Turkey. You don't spell it like Turkey. There's a Y and an there's a it's like TUK. It's like TURKYEI or something. Like there's another, like Turkey. They don't spell Turkey like how we spell Turkey. They spell it differently. So I try to spell it accurate, just like how Serbia on their jerseys, like when Jokic and all of them were in the, what the hell is it called? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. The Olympics. The Olympics. Like there's an N and a J in Serbia. It's weird. They spell it they spell it in their native, but anyways. So they speak Turkish. Just say it. Okay, whatever. Oh well. Hey, it's the rules. I guess you can't cover your mouth. Get caught on a hot mic saying something you don't want to say. I don't know. If you want to talk smack, just say it in Spanish. Like if they speak Turkish, they're not gonna know what you say. But anyways, plus, at the end of the day, too, it's kind of not what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's kind of guessed on like what are the most common things said on a soccer pitch. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you suck, and this is why. And, like, a couple cuss words here and there. You know what I mean? So there's not too many surprises here. So, with Morocco and Scotland, with how this game went, I'm actually surprised that Scotland kept it somewhat relatively close. If you look at how the score and the final score, I don't think dictates how this game went entirely. I know a lot of people can probably go, well, but... Hear me out. If Morocco barely beat Scotland 1-0, and I'm using the term barely, but if it wasn't a blowout versus you look at Haiti and Brazil's game, there's parts of me that think maybe we're sleeping on Scotland a little bit. And moreover, it shows that Morocco might be poised to win Group C versus Brazil. Because, again, if we've already overlooked Scotland, we've already overlooked Haiti, and it's like this is what's going on where Scotland's able to keep up with Morocco, then it's like I think this has more to say with Brazil, considering that these two, it was a draw 1-1. So, anyways, we got a goal here. Ball's right here. A lot of people were calling for, hey, do we got an offsides? Do we got an offsides? And then he just sniped the corner. And this was 90 seconds into the game. And then for the remainder of the rest of the game, I mean, there were a couple good saves here and there. And there were a couple... Boo. Boo. All right, back to it. There are a couple good chances and good looks. But other than that, like I was... Yeah, good game. Good game. You know, Turkey's got to find a way to win this, man. I mean, they're playing 10 on 11. Either win it or tie it. There's parts of me, though, that think even 10 versus 11, I'd still lean towards the advantage of Paraguay having the 1-0 lead. This is probably going to be last possession, too, because they're on plus 6 minutes. But they're at 53 minutes, so... That's probably a rule that you're taught growing up too. Like, hey, you don't cover your mouth when you're talking shit like that. Like, that's probably something that's like a giveaway where it's like, yeah, we knew this, even all the way down to the little leagues. I don't know. What's the red card penalty? Let me see if there's any. Does it last? Oh, so they're done. Okay. Now, would that mean that Paraguay wouldn't be down to 10 players in the next game, correct? Because that'd be a huge impact. Like, that honestly, that'd be some gangster shit if you just get in the other team's head and have them call a lot of... Like, in the opening match, like Paraguay is playing Team USA, you just try to get into their heads and make them draw 2 or 3 red cards. And then it's like, for the remainder of their next 2 games in group play, it's like, nope, down to 9 players. And then they lose another one. Nope, down to 8 players in this half. What the hell? They didn't call halftime? They literally called halftime, and now they're still playing. They literally called halftime, and now they're still playing. What in the world? That's another thing I don't understand about officiating too with soccer. Now they called half. Oh, you can see the coach go, vamos, vamos. Is the whole clock operations with oh my gosh, they, well, cut away. Cameras are like, all the people sitting at the desk. No, of course they're not going to fight. No, of course they're not fighting. Literally, there is a group of 20 plus men and fighting and pushing and shoving each other. But all the journalists back at the news desk are like, no, of course these players aren't fighting. Not in the integrity of what soccer is. If you want to fight, go play hockey or something like that. But this game was good. Sorry. Back to it. Oh, if you couldn't see my hands, I was kind of like doing one of these because that's how the announcers were standing at the desk. But so Morocco wins. They're on top of their league. Let me pull up the standings. Well, actually, I think no, Brazil's on top because of the goal differential. So Scotland can't get blown out. Scotland either needs to tie. They need to tie Brazil. That's it. They need to tie Brazil or tie Brazil or win. But I don't know, dude. If they couldn't beat Morocco, they probably. Oh, their chances on beating Brazil, I don't know. I don't know. So let's go to the Brazil game. Let's talk about this one. Brazil eliminates Haiti. Well, okay, I guess so. 3-0, you know, when you... let's go... Brazil. Excuse me. Sorry, people. It's not for a lack of effort either. One of the goals was the first one in the 23rd by Acuna. It was kind of a redirect like Messi's in the second, where the goalie had a good save and then there was just a putback. One was his in the 23rd. We're in the 11th minute. Let's skip forward. Here we go. So it's around right here. Okay. So here's the goal. So Vinny takes a shot and then it gets blocked. And then right here, he's just sitting kind of waiting. And then as it's deflected off of him, we come back right here and he just pokes it in because we already got our goalkeeper going one way. He's going the other, and then we have our goal. But anyways. So that was the first goal. And then the second goal. What's the second goal? Oh my gosh. In the 36th minute, we've already had our second goal. It's already 2-0. So then where's the second goal? Oh my gosh. From point blank range. Look at that. Look how freaking close. I missed this goal. The other goal that I saw was Vinny's. That made it 3-0. Oh my gosh. They just nothing, man. Again with the alternate kits too. Some alternate kits are anyways. So then there's the second goal. And then with Vinny's, dude, look how alone he is. No defenders in front of him. Just him and the ball. And then he finds the back of the net. Just crazy. Whoa, that's a cool. They were doing a fan watch party in a little sound bowl. In an amphitheater. That was pretty cool. Okay, it's halftime. Paraguay is up 1-0. But they are down a player, so we'll see if that impacts the second half. We're going to wrap up the stream here, and then we'll get going into our other stream. But guys, on the shorts end, we're going to do a quick hard out here. Actually, hold on. So I will see you guys in the next one. Whoop. Holy frick. Dude, 70 views? Let's frickin' go, man. Alright, let's go. Oh, I missed that. Hey. You guys see how I'm a little more orange than usual when that's going. Yeah. Okay. Which apologies to not having a video out and ready to go for Team USA. I'll just have to do a video later. I just started watching the other games and then oh, okay. I just saw an explanation on what an onside is. So right now, technically speaking, if the score holds, Australia moves to the next round. But then it would ultimately come down to Australia versus Paraguay whenever that moves on. Look at the VAR room, man. Hey, can we get one of those in the NFL? No. All right, people. We're gonna end the. If you guys like gaming streams, be sure to tune back here. We're gonna do a gaming stream. That was the other. That was the other thing. That why I wanted to do a quick stream too is because we're gonna be playing a game, and I don't want to chew too much into that time. So we'll end the stream here. But those are my reactions to some of the soccer today. Great day for Team USA. They've advanced to the round of 32. They have for the last four straight. So 22, 2018. No, not 2018. My bad. 2014, 2010. They've gotten to the knockout rounds. My bad. No, they didn't go to Russia. That was a hot take because that is when everybody freaking lost their mind for about Team USA soccer. And I kind of remember there was college football that night too. I think it had to be like a Friday night or something, where either like Louisville, because I'm thinking back when Louisville was good, Clemson, Bama, of course. I think Penn State just beat Iowa or something like that. Like they were ranked 4 in the country. But like ESPN made a huge deal about Team USA missing out on the World Cup, and like all the sports pundits were like freaking out and being like blah 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 blah. And it's like, as far as I know, as a culture, the sport America probably cares more about, I would say, is basketball and football. We just so happen to have rock stars playing hockey because we took that from Canada. No. There were a lot of things that bounced Team USA's way for them to win that game. But we can't talk too much ish because our national pastime got taken from us too in the World Baseball Classic. So anyways, but do you guys like my USA shirt? That's why I wore that too, because Team USA playing. Yeah, so anyways, guys, we're gonna end the stream though. Thank you all for hanging out. I'll catch you guys in the next stream.